G'day and welcome to my 5-minute Mobilize Me morning mobility routine for people over 40 who are sick and tired of having stiff and achy joints. We're going to need a couple of little tools here. This is a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, a foam roller if you have one. If you haven't got a foam roller, it's okay. We can just skip the first couple and move straight to the mobility drills. And lastly, a simple broomstick handle, something we can hold above our head that's a lightweight stick. Go and get those three things, come back, and we'll be ready to go with movement number one. Roller on the front of your legs. To start, pressure even through both legs, and we're just going to roll up and down relatively quickly. So I'm going to work all the way from the very top of my knee all the way up to the bony part of my hip, right where the pocket of my pants will be. There's a little wad of muscle here, and we're going to work the full length of that tissue. I can work the inside, I can work the outside, and the goal here is just to basically explore that tissue, find any pieces that might feel a little bit tight, a little bit sore. We're going to hang out in these positions and just try and create a little bit of change. So here's a little bit tight and sore for me. I can also work left and right across that tissue. So once I've gone up and down and I feel like I can handle a little bit more pressure, I work left and right across the tissue. And then lastly, for you guys, a little more experience, got a little bit of a higher pain threshold, I can sit here on a tight piece of that quadricep, pull my heel to my bum without moving the roller or my leg back to the bottom. So I'm going to basically press down on that one piece of tissue, take that joint through a full range of motion, and back to the start. Definitely going to spend some time up here in and around your hip flexors. We want to spend about 60 to 90 seconds there on the front of our legs. Exercise 2, we're going to work now into your bum and lower back. Again, using the roller. So this time, I'm just going to shift my weight onto my right side and I'm going to roll my right butt cheek. I especially want to spend some time in the top outside section of my glute. So if I basically cut my right butt cheek into quarters, right up here, especially up around the top outside part of your hip. This here is our piriformis. You can get a little bit tight, so I'm going to rock my weight all the way over to the side. Again, same as our quads. We can work up and down the entire length of that muscle. I can work left and right across that muscle. If I want to intensify this a little bit, I will cross my leg up here and then rock over into that right side. And I'm going to do that on both my left and right for about 60 seconds total into our lower back. So I stay seated on the roller, and all I'm going to do from here is roll forward until that lower back gets above my hips and my pelvis and into my lower back. When I'm here in my lower back, I'm not going to arch and try and fold over that roller. Okay, I'm going to keep my stomach relatively tight and just let the pressure push into that musculature in my back. I can also work this piece of tissue here underneath my bottom rib and above my pelvis. We're getting this muscle here called our QL. This is something you get very chronically tight with a lot of people who sit a lot and have an extended lower back. So we work here across the tissue, backwards and forwards. Again, not folding over that. If we get a little uncomfortable here, which you can, I want you to stop, relax, take a nice deep breath in, exhale, and just try and sink into the roller, and you'll find the pressure just eases off. Anytime the tension starts to get too much, take a nice deep breath for me, but if you need to, just jump up, give yourself a little break. A great way to have a little rest after doing your lower back and glutes area is just to sit your bum back onto your heels into a child's pose and stretch all the way across to the top of our pelvis. So we roll the roller up our back again. This time I get up onto my ribs, and if I can, I'm going to work that right up the middle of my back Nice and slowly up the entire length of my ribcage. First time through here, you might get a couple of little cracks. Very nice. And then as you start to feel more comfortable with this, here we can start to fold over the roller. So I can let my bum gently find the floor. From here, deep breath in. I'm going to exhale and extend my arms over my head and create some extension through my spine. I can move that roll a little bit lower. And again, same, just a slightly lower piece. Exhale, fold over that roller, back to the middle. It's okay if you can't quite get as far as I am here. Just go to your range, what feels comfortable for you. And the second piece to our shoulder and upper back mobility is a big muscle in our under our armpits called our lats. Okay, so I like to now get that roller underneath my armpit, and I'm going to work again up and down the tissue. Okay, so I'm under my armpit here. I'm going to work all the way down until about I'm in line with my chest, or the bottom of my chest here, just below my nipple line. I can also work left and right across that tissue as well. This one here can get a little uncomfortable. Do what you can. Bear with it. The more we do this sort of stuff, the easier it gets. Okay. Next up is our runner's stretch. Great way to now open up and increase the range of motion in the front of our hips. So undo all that sitting time, get some activation in the muscles in our butt. This is the perfect anti-sitting stretch. If you suffer with knee pain, hip pain, back pain, this should be one of your go-to movements daily. I've placed a towel down under my knee to give me a little bit of cushioning. I'm going to get my leg bent at 90 degrees, my hip stacked above my knee. And from this position here, I'm going to get my bum and I'm going to try and tuck it underneath and squeeze the muscle in my right butt cheek, the same glute of the knee that's on the ground. If you put your hand here, you should physically feel your bum squeeze. You can see it as I do that there. Instantly, we get a stretch in the front of your hip. And I'm going to maintain the activation in my glute, active, and roll my hip, understanding that the big bone in my leg, my femur has a little neck and a ball, and it sits inside of my hip. So I can roll around here at the front and explore that area. I might be a little bit tighter on the inside, so I can take my foot out and drop to the inside, still maintaining the activity in my glute. I can even push my hip out, take the same arm up and over the top and increase that stretch. Let me just come front on and show you how we can get there. And then I can also drop in to the inside and feel that more through my groin. Having my toes pulled to my shins will make it a little bit harder. Top of my foot flat to the floor will make it easiest. If I want to intensify this a little bit, I get a little bench or a step. I place my foot up and we elevate your shin. The more I increase or decrease this angle between my calf and my hamstring right here, the harder this gets. But you need to maintain the activation in your glutes. If you get up too high and you can't squeeze the muscle in your butt, decrease your level until you can. We don't want to get into a position here where you're arching your back and pushing forward through what we call lumbar extension. I want you to have an activation in your glute and squeeze and push through what we call hip extension. It's coming from here, not here. You should not see your bottom rib flare. It needs to be down, my stomach engaged, my glutes switched on. This is the perfect anti-sitting stretch. If you suffer with knee pain, hip pain, back pain, this should be one of your go-to movements daily. My next movement is an ass to grass squat. This is something we don't do anywhere near enough of in Western society. And if we think of Eastern cultures, India, China, Japan, they spend a long time in these positions and it benefits them in a number of ways. One, in this position, my ankle, my knee, and my hip are through a full range of motion. That joint is completely closed. Now, understand our cartilage the white pieces on the end of our bones do not get any nutrition from blood. They have their own fluid called synovial fluid, and that's where they gain nutrition. Now, the simplest explanation I can give you is imagine a sponge in a bucket of water. If I completely squeeze that sponge and open it up, it fills full of the water that surrounds it, like our joints, and it'll get plenty of nutrition if we eat good food. If I'm only ever, Western society, going to 90 degrees and then standing back up again, those joints never get completely squashed. So we never get all the nutrition we should. And that is why in Western cultures, or part of the reason why in Western cultures, we're having people needing hip and knee replacements at the age of 35, 40, whereas we see almost zero incidence of hip and knee disease in these Eastern cultures. The second part to this is as we age, one of the key things is for us and longevity is being able to get down and up off the ground. So a full depth squat is super important because if I can get down here to pick something up, stand back up again, I am far less likely to fall, which means I'm far less likely to break my hip. If we break our hip past the age of 70, our chances of all-cause mortality go up by about 80%. It's almost a death sentence. Crazy. Watch my dad do it in about 12 months from falling off a ladder and breaking his hip. So it's an important one for us. So if we can get down into this position here, and you're going to notice with me, my ankle's a little bit tight from years and years of running, working on it, but they're almost to the floor. But I can sit in this position and I'm nice and comfortable. If this is a little bit too hard, we can use something for a little bit of stability. So I'm just going to use this pot plant here. These are my favorite little plants. And I can hold on to this. It can be the leg of a chair. It can be a pole. It can be a table, as long as it's solid enough to hold your weight. And I'm just going to leverage that and hold on to the plant or the pole or whatever it is that you've got access to, the car, anything it can be. And then all we do from there is just straighten those legs out, come back down, nice deep squat again. And ideally, if we can hang out in this position 20, 30 seconds, come up out of it, back down we go. Anytime you need a break, and just get through 3 or 4 full ranges of motion through that squat. Now, for you guys that are a little bit more advanced, we can then go to an overhead squat and help mobilize your upper back a little bit here. So I'm going to add a little elevation for my heels, my ankle range of motion. Simple broom from the cupboard, over the head it goes. And I now want to squat, keeping that bar directly over my head. So I'm going to work through that thoracic extension. I can hang here for a second, drive down into my heels, back to the top, to the bottom. And if you can get through 5 or 6 full range of motion overhead squats, you are doing very, very well. Now, if any of you guys like me have some knee issues and feel like you can't bend or completely bend your knee, you get some tightness in behind it, I've got another great video to help take away some of the inflammation in your knee. I got diagnosed with severe osteoarthritis in my right knee after multiple operations and dislocations in my 20s. Basically, we're told I need a knee replacement 5, almost 6 years ago now. I could no chance in the world, if you saw me then, could I sit like this and bend that knee. And I've developed a couple of really great tools to help you reduce the inflammation in the knee joint, get it through some good ranges of motion so we can start increasing the strength and reducing your pain. If that is something you deal with, check out my video here on your knee health.